Welcome back to Rapture Tales. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and get ready for another story you won't forget. Let's dive back to the story. Emily Saunders worked long hours at the town bank, always careful, always polite. Her stepmother, Margaret, treated her coldly, praising Clara for every small achievement while criticizing Emily endlessly. Her stepbrother Nathaniel joined in, mocking her frugality and lack of future. Emily tried to ignore them, finding comfort in little acts of kindness, helping clients, offering advice, or quietly giving her smile to strangers. Deep down, she longed for respect, love, and a life beyond their constant disdain. But every day in the Saunders household reminded her that she was an outsider, tolerated only because Margaret had agreed to raise her after her father's death. Emily's heart ached with longing, yet she maintained her gentle spirit, refusing to let bitterness take root. One evening, on her way home to the rain-soaked streets, Emily saw a quiet man sitting on the curb, shivering but not begging. Something about his calm demeanor and weary eyes drew her closer. She offered him her umbrella, some coins, and a warm sandwich. The man, David Carter, accepted politely but insisted he didn't need charity. Over the next few days, Emily continued to check on him, bringing small comforts, listening to his story of hardship and orphanhood. Her compassion grew, and she felt a bond forming, though she knew her family would disapprove. Clara had already started mocking Emily's street friend, claiming she was wasting her life chasing hopeless dreams instead of aiming for wealth and status, making Emily question whether kindness was worth the ridicule. But her heart told her otherwise. Emily's visits became more frequent. She learned David rarely spoke of his past, but she sensed the pain he carried. One evening, she found him beaten and bruised by a gang that roamed the streets, and panic gripped her. Without hesitation, she brought him to her modest home, tending to his wounds herself. Margaret erupted in fury the moment she saw him. "This is disgusting. A street rat in my house? How dare you bring him here?" she shouted, her face twisted with anger. Clara sneered, enjoying Emily's discomfort. Emily felt torn, but a quiet strength surged inside her. She couldn't abandon someone who had become important to her. When Emily confronted Margaret about her favoritism and constant cruelty, Margaret's expression hardened. She revealed the truth. Emily was not her biological daughter, but the child of her late husband, whom she had agreed to raise begrudgingly. Then came the ultimatum: abandon David or leave the house forever. Emily's choice was swift. She refused to betray her heart. Gathering a few belongings, she walked out into the night with David, leaving behind the only home she had ever known, but taking with her the self-respect she had earned. Though the streets were uncertain, Emily felt freer than she ever had in Margaret's house, knowing she had chosen kindness over cruelty and loyalty over false security. Life outside the Saunders household was challenging, but Emily and David faced it together. She found work at a small cafe while he recovered fully, and their days were filled with small joys, shared meals, laughter, and quiet walks through the city. Margaret's words haunted her at times, but David's steady presence comforted her. Clara's mockery continued, now from a distance, her words sharp like knives through whispered gossip. But Emily had learned that freedom often came with a cost. Nathaniel remained a nuisance, but he no longer dictated her life. For the first time, Emily felt she was making her own path. Then came the news about Clara. She had been arrested with her reckless boyfriend, Thomas, caught in possession of illegal substances. Margaret raged at the world and blamed everyone but her daughter. Emily, despite all past grievances, offered her help at the police station, showing her character once again. Margaret's screams and insults cut through the air, calling Emily worthless, a daughter of a useless woman. Emily's heart ached, but she held firm, refusing to sink into anger or despair. She walked away with David, leaving her stepmother's venom behind, finally realizing that true family was built on love and respect, not blood or societal expectation. As they walked away, David finally revealed his secret. He was not a beggar but David Wentworth, sole heir to Wentworth Industries, a massive fortune built by his family. He had disguised himself to find someone who would love him for who he was, not his wealth. Emily's eyes widened in disbelief, tears welling as he explained how her selfless kindness had passed his test. Overwhelmed, she allowed herself to hope again. David took her hand and guided her to the breathtaking Wentworth mansion, a world of elegance she had never dreamed of entering. At the mansion, David proposed with a dazzling diamond ring. Emily, still in awe, felt her heart soar as she accepted. Her journey from belittled bank teller to future wife of a billionaire seemed unreal, yet it was a reward for her unwavering kindness and courage. Meanwhile, Clara's reckless pursuit of quick riches collapsed. She had mortgaged a family home to fund Thomas's so-called investment, which failed, leaving the Saunders family homeless and destitute. Watching the news of David and Emily's engagement, Clara realized the beggar she had mocked was the very man she had coveted. Pride and greed had cost her everything. Emily and David's life together blossomed quickly. Their love was genuine, based on trust and shared hardship, unlike the shallow ambitions Emily had endured in her stepfamily's home. She found joy in the smallest things: a shared cup of tea, laughter in the garden, quiet conversations late at night. Each day with David reaffirmed her belief that kindness and patience were rewarded in time. She no longer feared judgment, knowing she had chosen the right life with the right person. Back home, Margaret and Clara faced the bitter consequences of their choices. The house was lost, debts remained, and Nathaniel struggled to find purpose. Their greed had isolated them from the people who mattered most. They approached Emily cautiously, remorse written on their faces, hoping for forgiveness. Emily listened patiently, but gently reminded them that life moved forward. She had found love, respect, and freedom, and she would no longer be defined by their cruelty. With David beside her, Emily stepped into a future she had always deserved. The Saunders family's downfall became the talk of the town. Emily's story, of a kind-hearted woman who had chosen love over wealth and dignity over approval, inspired many. David's revelation as the true heir to Wentworth Industries only added to the drama. Margaret's attempts to regain status failed, while Clara and Nathaniel faced the reality of hard work and humility. Emily's strength and integrity shone as a beacon, demonstrating that compassion and courage could overcome adversity. Emily and David prepared for their wedding, a beautiful ceremony filled with joy and laughter, contrasting sharply with the bitterness of her past family. Friends and loyal colleagues celebrated their union, recognizing the remarkable journey Emily had undertaken. Margaret and Clara approached her one last time, full of apologies, but Emily, though kind, declined to let them back into her life fully. She had moved beyond resentment, embracing a new chapter of happiness, love, and respect. Their wedding day marked not just the union of two hearts, but the triumph of goodness over cruelty, of love over ambition, and of courage over fear. Every day after the wedding, Emily and David settled into their life at the mansion. They hosted charity events, supported the local community, and nurtured the bonds they had built before wealth had entered the picture. Emily remained humble, grateful, and deeply compassionate, ensuring that her past struggles informed her kindness rather than her bitterness. David admired her strength and humility, and their love deepened with each passing day. Life had rewarded Emily's heart, not for her beauty or status, but for her integrity and courage. Meanwhile, Margaret, Clara, and Nathaniel adjusted painfully to their new reality. They had lost everything, and the world no longer catered to their desires. Margaret's arrogance had been stripped away, Clara's vanity humbled, and Nathaniel faced the challenge of self-reliance. They saw Emily's happiness and could not help but reflect on their own failures. Yet Emily's compassion remained unshaken. She wished them well, without returning to the past that had caused her pain. She understood that forgiveness was more about freeing herself than redeeming them. Emily's life at the Wentworth mansion was filled with love, laughter, and meaningful work. She used her position to support underprivileged youth, drawing from her own experiences of rejection and hardship. David remained devoted, always encouraging her to dream bigger and to lead with her heart. They hosted events that combined luxury with purpose, ensuring wealth served more than just comfort. Their home became a sanctuary of respect, love, and generosity, a stark contrast to the Saunders household she had left behind. Clara attempted one final scheme, hoping to reclaim her previous social status through manipulation, but her efforts only highlighted her recklessness. Nathaniel, too, struggled to find purpose, learning lessons the hard way about responsibility and humility. Margaret's bitterness simmered, but gradually gave way to regret. Emily, observing quietly, realized that life's lessons were harshest for those who ignored kindness and integrity. She and David, however, remained untouched by envy, their bond growing stronger each day, a living testament to love earned through virtue. David and Emily's engagement blossomed into an eagerly anticipated wedding. Invitations went out to friends, colleagues, and those who had witnessed Emily's journey from struggle to triumph. The town buzzed with excitement, inspired by the story of the bank teller who had chosen love over convenience, kindness over cruelty. Emily, once timid and overlooked, now radiated confidence and grace, a symbol of integrity rewarded. She walked through the preparations with calm joy, knowing every hardship had shaped her into the woman worthy of David's love. Margaret, Clara, and Nathaniel attended the wedding out of obligation and desperation, hoping to reclaim some semblance of favor. Emily greeted them politely but firmly, making it clear that while she forgave them, she would no longer allow their past cruelty to define her present. The ceremony unfolded beautifully, with David waiting at the altar, his eyes filled with love and admiration. Emily stepped forward, hand in hand with the man who had valued her soul above all else, leaving behind judgment, greed, and resentment forever. Their wedding day became a symbol of triumph, not just for Emily and David, but for everyone who valued true character over superficial gain. Friends and family celebrated, recognizing that wealth alone could not create happiness. It was love, respect, and integrity that mattered most. Emily's journey resonated, showing that even in the face of betrayal and cruelty, kindness could prevail. David and Emily exchanged vows, promising to honor and protect each other, their bond unshakable and genuine. Outside the mansion, news spread of the Saunders family's misfortune. The town watched as Margaret and Clara faced the consequences of pride and selfishness. Emily, however, did not gloat. She had found a life filled with purpose and joy. She and David began their life together in earnest, embracing both wealth and responsibility, ensuring that their fortune served others. Their love story became a legend in the town, a reminder that the heart's choices define destiny more than birthright beauty or social ambition ever could. Years passed, and Emily and David thrived together. They had built a life rooted in love, generosity, and respect, each day a testament to the power of compassion. Emily remained grounded, humble, and grateful, never forgetting the journey that had brought her to this point. David continued to support her, and together they created a family built on trust and shared values. Their home became a place where anyone in need could find refuge, proof that true wealth lay in generosity and integrity. Meanwhile, Margaret, Clara, and Nathaniel struggled to rebuild their lives from scratch. Homeless and humbled, they experienced the consequences of greed and manipulation. Observing Emily's flourishing life stirred a mixture of regret and awe, yet they could not undo the past. Emily's forgiveness and continued kindness showed that moving forward required inner strength, not vengeance. The family's reversal of fortune contrasted sharply with Emily and David's prosperity, highlighting the rewards of virtue and the perils of selfishness. Emily's story became widely known. People admired the woman who had faced cruelty yet remained compassionate, who had chosen love and integrity over wealth and convenience. David's revelation as a true heir amplified the tale, showing that appearances could be deceiving and that the heart's measure outweighed material wealth. Emily's journey inspired many to act with kindness, courage, and patience, even in the face of relentless adversity. Her life became proof that true love recognizes character first and wealth second, rewarding those who remain faithful to themselves. The Saunders family's fall continued to serve as a cautionary tale. Clara's ambition had led her to ruin, Margaret's cruelty had alienated her family, and Nathaniel's laziness left him unprepared for the world's harsh realities. Observers saw Emily's triumph as a moral lesson. Generosity and honesty shaped destiny more than privilege or scheming. Emily and David, however, never sought revenge. Their focus remained on building a life of meaning, showing that success derived not from harming others, but from remaining true to one's heart. Emily and David celebrated their first anniversary, surrounded by friends, family, and colleagues who had supported them along the way. Their love had grown deeper, their bond stronger, as they reflected on the journey from hardship to happiness. They shared laughter, plans, and dreams for the future, knowing that together they could overcome any challenge. Emily's compassion continued to guide her, while David's unwavering support ensured she remained confident in herself. Their marriage embodied the idea that true wealth lay in love, respect, and shared values, rather than material fortune alone. Even as time went on, the Saunders family could not regain their past position. Homeless and humbled, they were forced to confront the reality of their choices. Emily's success and happiness remained a constant reminder of the power of virtue, courage, and selflessness. She had chosen love and integrity over convenience and wealth, and the world had rewarded her accordingly. Her life with David was proof that even in a world obsessed with status and money, the heart's truth would ultimately prevail. Emily and David extended their influence, engaging in philanthropy and initiatives that improved their community. Emily felt fulfilled, knowing that her past struggles gave her the empathy to make meaningful change. David supported her in every endeavor, and together they became a force for good, admired not only for their wealth but for their generosity and integrity. Their love story inspired countless others to seek relationships founded on character and respect rather than convenience or ambition. Meanwhile, Margaret, Clara, and Nathaniel faced the consequences of pride and poor choices. Their fall from privilege served as a permanent reminder of the dangers of greed and cruelty. Yet Emily's forgiveness offered them hope, showing that compassion need not be conditional. She had grown beyond resentment, embracing a life of joy, purpose, and fulfillment. The contrast between the Saunders family's downfall and Emily's ascent illustrated life's unpredictable justice. Kindness and courage often triumph where vanity and selfishness fail. Emily's life at Wentworth Mansion continued to flourish. She and David raised a family with values rooted in empathy, respect, and love. Their children learned early the lessons their parents had embodied, that wealth is meaningless without kindness, and that true love transcends appearances and social standing. Emily found joy not only in her family but in helping others, mentoring those who had struggled as she had, proving that one person's courage can ripple outward to touch countless lives. The Saunders family faded into obscurity, their name once whispered with pride now associated with misfortune and poor choices. Emily, however, remained a symbol of hope, courage, and resilience. Her journey showed that integrity, patience, and a generous heart could rewrite destiny. David and Emily's love became legendary in their community, proof that the right partner can transform a life, and that love built on character and selflessness endures far longer than wealth or social ambition. Emily and David lived each day intentionally, their lives intertwined in shared purpose and love. The mansion was filled with laughter, music, and warmth, a stark contrast to the coldness Emily had endured as a girl. Their story became a lesson for all. Hardship does not define destiny. Cruelty does not conquer kindness, and wealth cannot replace love or integrity. Emily's spirit, once belittled, now radiated strength, compassion, and joy, serving as a beacon to anyone who had ever been underestimated or undervalued. Margaret, Clara, and Nathaniel ultimately had to build a new life from scratch. Their mistakes had taught them harsh lessons, yet Emily remained an example of forgiveness and resilience. She did not seek vengeance. She had found something far more powerful: love, respect, and happiness. Her story, alongside David's, reminded the world that choosing the heart over wealth and character over appearances was the truest path to fulfillment. The Saunders family, humbled and broken, could only watch as Emily and David's life soared, a testament to the triumph of virtue over vanity. Emily and David continued their life of love and purpose, their relationship strengthened by shared trials and unwavering trust. They hosted charity events, mentored youth, and remained deeply involved in community, ensuring that their wealth served a higher purpose. Every act, no matter how small, reflected the values that brought them together: kindness, empathy, and loyalty. Their marriage flourished not because of grandeur, but because of the unwavering respect and affection they held for each other, proving that true love is nurtured through shared values, trust, and selflessness. The Saunders family faded further into irrelevance, their attempts to regain influence consistently thwarted by the consequences of their earlier greed and cruelty. Emily's story, however, became an enduring legend, celebrated as a tale of virtue rewarded. Her journey showed that even the most ordinary person, when guided by courage and compassion, could rise above adversity and find happiness. The contrast between her triumphant life and her stepfamily's downfall illustrated a timeless truth: integrity, love, and kindness endure, while selfishness and cruelty collapse under their own weight. Emily's life with David became the embodiment of hope, generosity, and love. They cultivated a home filled with laughter, learning, and meaningful connections, offering both warmth and guidance to all who entered. Emily, once belittled and dismissed, now flourished as a woman confident in her worth and her choices. David's unwavering support allowed her to shine even brighter, and together they created a legacy of integrity and kindness that inspired their entire community. Their love story demonstrated that choosing character and heart above social expectation and superficial gain leads to enduring happiness. Meanwhile, the Saunders family remained a cautionary tale. Homeless and humbled, Margaret, Clara, and Nathaniel struggled daily with the results of their greed and arrogance. Emily, despite everything, forgave them in her heart, but never allowed them to overshadow her newfound happiness. She had moved on, embracing a life filled with love, purpose, and dignity. Her journey from rejection to triumph reminded all who knew her that courage, integrity, and compassion are the truest measures of a person's worth, and that, in the end, the heart always finds its rightful reward. That's all for today. Like, subscribe, and see you in the next episode. Stay tuned.